The NC State defense. The NC State defense. I just want to acknowledge, like, stand up and take a bow. Gets lost, right? It's why football is such an awesome game and such a frustrating game. It's the ultimate team game in that your defense can play outside its mind, and if your offense doesn't carry its end of the bargain, you can still end up frustrated, right? It's never has, and it's very similar to what's going on in Carolina at times. If the offense scores 7 points and the defense gives up 10, the defense is still sad in the locker room, which feels, logically like it shouldn't work, but it's a full team game. The first half for NC State against Louisville on Friday was some of the best defense played in the ACC this year. Louisville came in averaging 43 points per game, and they were goose-egged in the first. Zippy. Nada. None. This is the first half for the 43 points per game averaging Louisville. And by the way, you may say, like, oh, who did they play? Well, in the ACC, they played 4 games prior to NC State. 2 of them were in conference. In conference, 47 points per game. They were better in the ACC than their other non-conference games. So this is how their first half went. Punt, punt, punt. Missed 52-yard field goal, which I give defense credit for. You're forcing a 52-yarder. If you miss a 30-yarder, I go, you gave up points. Missed 52-yard field goal, fumble, interception. That's how it went. Punt, 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 missed field goal, fumble, interception, halftime. That's dominant. That's dominant. You can't waste that defensive performance like you did. You can't waste Payton Wilson having 10 tackles, 2 sacks, a pass defensed, and a fumble recovery. You can't waste Sean Brown having 8 tackles and 2 sacks. You can't waste Bishop Fitzgerald having 6 tackles and an interception. Shy Battle, interception. You can't waste that opportunity. You couldn't score 14 points. That's a situation where I can understand the defense looking at the coaching staff and the offense and going, listen, I understand it's tough. I understand what you're doing is struggles. But at the same time, I need to see you do something, right? It's like, just look busy, right? If the defense is playing great and the offense is playing poor, offense should probably get to the facility before the defense. Right? I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to say it's on you. I'm not going to say it's your fault. But I need you to show me the work, right? I need you to show me that this is meaningful to you, and you understand what I'm doing.
I'm going to look at you funny if you show up late.
Exactly. So it's like it's Dave Doran, right, making the switch at quarterback. It might just be looking at the defense, going, "Listen, I'm trying everything I got over here. Listen, we're making big changes. Stick with me." Right? It's not, because it would be kind of frustrating if the offensive game plan was like, we're going to stay the course and keep doing what we're doing. It's like, wait a second. So you're saying we got to give up 13 or less? That's not how this is going to work. So it's kind of funny to hear Dave Doran say this. He says, everyone has to play better. This is part of his media availability.
But let me make this clear. Changing the quarterback, everyone has to be better. This isn't throwing Brennan under the bus and pinning it on him. It's the opposite, It starts with me, and I own that. Everyone has to be what changes. The chemistry is about everyone, and playing well around the quarterback.
Maybe not. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. After watching that game, defense, keep doing what you're doing. Everybody needs to play better defense if you can, but don't risk very, very good at the expense of trying to be perfect, right? Like if you can be very, very good like you have been, let us try to get better on the other side of the ball. You can't waste a defensive performance like that.
Even if their offense was just average.
I mean, we're talking
just average.
We're talking very The expectations are not that you're the greatest show on turf.
No.
You don't need to be Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Kurt Warner and Marshall Falk walking through that. Ricky Prohl. You don't need to be that group walking through that door.
Yeah, no one's expecting 35 points a game.
But give me 21.
Yeah, that's it.
Give me 21. Our offensive coordinator in college, 24 was his number, and he would ask everyone in the preseason, is it outlandish to ask to score 24 points in a game? And, of course, everyone would go no. And then he'd start putting stats up of, like, how often a team in college football wins when they scored. This was a little bit earlier area. It's probably like 28 now. Everyone's scoring more. But you start putting it, it's like, oh, so all we have to do is score 24 and we're going to win, whatever it was, 78% of our games. And if we score 30, we're going to win 90-something. Like, the numbers were crazy. And it's even less if you have a great defense. It's even less if you have a great defense. And that's why I keep saying, like, explosive plays for this offense are so important, right? Because think about what one long touchdown a game does for the NC State defense. If the offense can score one long touchdown a game, it completely changes everything. Now Tony Gibson is creative with a lead? What? Now he's bringing pressures. He's bringing safeties out of the sky. He's sending Payton Wilson, who's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, on the team. Now he can have everything at his disposal, and the other team has to pass. They have to make up ground. By the way, I do this for Duke with how well Mike Elko's done as a job turning that program around. And I'm just, it's like a mental preparation thing. So don't hurt the messenger. I'm trying to just prepare you for what might happen. If Tony Gibson keeps doing what he's doing as the defensive coordinator at NC State, somebody with a head coaching job is going to notice, right? If you go into the Louisville offense, very, very modern, right? It's all the spreads. It's all the this. It's got the lightning quick back. It's got the transfer wide receivers. It's got the transfer quarterback. If you can take that offense and go, like, I'm not just going to slow you down. I'm going to put you in my pocket and carry you around with me. Or I'm going to make you my domesticated pet. Somebody's going to notice. Like, you can't expect him to stick around giving up 14 points a game and losing. By the way, I just want to repeat those stats one more time because they are bananas. Payton Wilson, 10 tackles, 2 sacks, a pass defense, and a fumble recovery. That's a good day at the office.
It's a great day.
And, act like you don't kind of expect it from him at this point.
It's one of those things like, wow, it's a great day, but at the same time, it's like, oh, he did it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like TJ Watt getting 2 sacks. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And it probably downplays like what Sean Brown and Bishop Fitzgerald did at safety, where that was the position I was concerned with because both of them had been banged up. Other safeties and their depth chart were held out. Like, between the two of them, they had 14 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception. Now, that's a little downplayed after you just read Payton Wilson's stat line because you're like, wait, 2 guys combined for that? That's just one Payton Wilson. But those 2 guys stepping up, like, that is so baller. You can't waste that performance. That's what I keep coming back to.